Uncle Richard is here with us in Alaska visiting for a few days, and I don't know, a couple of months ago he interviewed us for his channel. He has a YouTube channel also called Old, Alone, and Far From Home. So we wanted to share that video with you all also, thought you might be interested. But first, you want to tell us a little bit about your channel?
Yeah, it's Old, Alone, and Far From Home, as you mentioned. And what I'm going to be doing is in the fall, I'll begin full-time world travel. So that's my channel to sort of document that journey. In the meantime, until I start that, I figured I'd do a few videos on places that I am, places that I see. I'm doing a couple of videos from here in Alaska. And one of the things that I wanted to do is talk about Heather and Jeff's adventure, because I'm not the only member of my family who is going to be traveling. So that's what this video is all about.
As far as what we've seen and what we've been able to do, it's been amazing.
What places have surprised you in a positive way the most?
My answer to that question, I think, would be places like Oregon Pipe Cactus National Monument. You don't really expect much from that because I'd never even really heard of it, but it was an amazing place. It was one of those places that we got to and we had made reservations beyond that and wished that we hadn't, because we would have liked to have stayed longer.
You went to Crater Lake and it was fogged in, and you stepped outside the visitor center, which was covered in snow, and the clouds lifted, the fog lifted, and you had just an amazing view of the lake.
That's a great example of our time at Crater Lake. We have so many different occasions that have occurred like that, where we've got to see amazing places that most people never get an opportunity to see. One that comes to mind is snowshoeing in Zion National Park. Mm-hmm. That was shocking. We didn't think we were going to get an opportunity to do it, much less at Zion. And we had a wonderful time. It was amazing scenery.
Some incredible scenes of the American West, and just some of the adventures that my niece Heather and her husband Jeff are experiencing this year. It turns out I'm not the only member of my family taking on life-changing travel. In the next few minutes, I'll focus on Heather and Jeff's full-time RV travel. Stick around to the end as I have news of a related addition to my summer plans.
We are currently on a one-year trip across the country, with our main goal being Alaska for the summer.
How long have you been planning something like this?
Oh gosh, we've probably been planning this for, I don't know, close to 10 years, I would say. A very long time.
It was a dream for a lot of years, and then back in August we decided that it was kind of now or never. So that's when we really got serious about doing it this year.
Why was this something that you wanted to do in the first place?
My father died at a rather young age and never really got to enjoy his retirement. And we were determined to not let that happen to us.
We've spent a good portion of our adult lives kind of caring for elderly family members, and we got to a point where it was no one really needed us at this moment, and so it was kind of like it was now or never.
How did you plot your course, and where did you start, and where have you been thus far?
We live in Kentucky, so we started from there, and honestly, we kind of just selected our locations as we went. Definitely wanted to get to the south, where it was a little bit warmer since we were leaving in January. And we've just kind of gone from one destination to the next, just kind of looking at the internet and maps and determining what sounds interesting to us.
Are there camping resources out there that you found that have been particularly helpful?
The simple one is we use Google Maps a lot. We've learned to not rely on it for navigation, because a lot of times it'll take you on really small roads or roads that you simply can't tow a trailer on, or maybe shouldn't tow a trailer on.
I also use a lot. I use Campendium. I have a Campendium app on my phone, and it gives you all kinds of different camping options, from RV parks all the way to like free BLM kind of camping. Then we also are members of Harvest Hosts, which gives you some options for like quick one-night stays, like if you're just trying to get from one place to another. There's always something around to go see, something to do, and you can get from one place to another. Usually you have to maybe sometimes get creative about it.
How has this trip lived up to your expectations? You built this up in your minds over 10 years, and now it's happening. Is it what you expected? Is it more? Is it less?
I would say it's been everything I've expected and a lot more work than I expected.
You quickly realize when you're full timing in the camper that it's not as comfortable as you'd like.
How different is it spending all of your time in your camper as opposed to just short periods of time that you've done in the past?
The trip planning and stuff, I mean, that is just a tremendous amount of work. I mean, I bet probably we spend 3 evenings a week at least sitting at the computers, looking at campgrounds, looking at, destinations, places we can go.
We're 50 feet long overall when we're hooked between the truck and the camper. So it makes it very challenging when you need to pull into a gas station or you want to stop somewhere to see something or stop for some food.
It does get exhausting sometimes.
How much is it worth it though?
Oh, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. I mean, I love what we're doing. I love all we're seeing. It's worth every second.
Do you feel like at some point you would like to do this full time, even beyond a year? I mean, just finish up your work lives and this is the way you live?
I'd say it's a little too early for us to make that determination, but so far, I would consider that certainly.
Yeah, I've always thought that we would eventually end up on the road. If we were doing it full time, we would do it a little bit differently than we do now. If we were on the road full time, I think we would stay stationary a little bit longer.
Is this adventure that you're on going to satisfy you for a while and you'll be ready to stay home for a bit and get back to work if you want?
I think it's going to be really hard to go back home.
Yeah.
Especially, if we go back to regular jobs, it's going to be hard.
We're not ready to go home now, that's for sure. And I think Christmas is going to roll around and we may have the same response.
Would you suggest other people do this in the same way that you're doing it?
Everyone should do what works for them, but definitely, if you can get out and see the world, go do it.
If you can get out and see the world, go do it. That's good advice for anybody of any age. I guess that's Heather's version of me saying, no matter what you want to do, be brave. Now for the news that I mentioned earlier. I'll be flying to Alaska in the next couple of weeks, joining Heather and Jeff. Our plans are to spend a week on the Kenai Peninsula. Of course, I'll have my camera. See you soon.
Heather, I thought you and Jeff both did a really good job of explaining what you're doing and where you're going and sort of your motivation behind doing this year-long trip. I mean, I'm envious of what you guys are doing.
Oh, it's been a great trip. But you've got some pretty cool travels coming up too. You want to tell us about it?
I'm pretty excited. I retired at the end of May and sold my house, and now I'll start full-time world travel in the fall, starting off with a little 8-day, 9-day trip to Ireland, and then I'll do month-long travel. I'll be in Sofia, Bulgaria, Vlora, Albania, Athens, Greece, and then Tunis, Tunisia. That'll take me to late January.
That sounds awesome.
I cannot wait.
So next week we'll finish up our Alaska highway travels that we started, a couple weeks ago. But you can expect to see videos with him in it from his visit in the coming weeks. We're not really sure exactly when yet.
And we spent time in Homer and Seward. Really cool trip, and we got to go to the Kenai Fjords National Park. All kinds of great adventures. You'll like it.